Lucius! Alright. So you know that you know this thing that you told me about like 2 days ago? The Diamond Lobo skin?
Yeah.
What's coming out soon? In the shop. I don't know. Yes, it's self-reflection. I don't know when though.
Already started. Too late to back out now.
I'll include my audio. Make sure on your end they can hear me before we start this, and then I'll start mine, and then you include yours. Okay, let me start mine. Alright, I just started mine, so make sure you include yours. And let me double check to see if the audio is good. Let me double check here.
Oh, I stopped thinking about it because I can't refund the one that I gave you. I wish I could.
Baze, go ahead and talk.
Hello.
Baze, go ahead. Let's see.
How long do you think it's going to take for it to come back up first?
It didn't pick up your audio for some reason.
I don't have a check mark box for some reason. Like, I don't have a box at all.
You don't have a box at all?
Yeah, like there's no box to check mark.
Really? Can you hear me on your end then?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. Hold up. Sorry, stream. We're working out some technical difficulties here. Let me. Oh, there we go. It should be working now. Try now. Is there a box?
Yeah. Now there's a box.
Okay. Let me check the audio again. Go ahead and say a few things, FaZe. Let's see if this audio is good.
Hello.
All right. Let's see. Yes, it's a little glitchy, so I don't know if it's just the echoing or not, but I think it's fine, I guess. Sorry about the technical issues, guys. This is kind of a spur of the moment thing, but it's something I would like to do with FaZe because we both are interested in this. We're gonna be playing some Cold War while we talk about BO6 for our new like podcast format that we're working on. So before we obviously start, guys, I want to just thank everyone for tuning into this podcast debate with FaZe. I mean, we're more likely to be talking about BO6 and stuff like that for zombies. And obviously, first, before we start, make sure you guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, to go into the description. We'll have FaZe's Twitter, not Twitter, but sorry, Twitch. And we'll have his Instagram, all that stuff linked down below. We'll have mine as well. So make sure you guys go show FaZe some love as well, because he makes awesome content as well. This is kind of the first time like we've kind of done content in a long time with each other, so this is going to be really fun. I'm excited. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and play some Cold War together for some zombies here, talking about what we like about BO6 so far, what we've seen, because a lot of people aren't liking a lot of it, and some people are really enjoying it, so we're going to have some fun with this one. But before we get started, obviously, I'll let FaZe go ahead and, you know, introduce himself and his Twitch and all the socials and all that. Alright, you can go ahead, FaZe.
Yeah, so that's basically what we're doing, and basically all of my socials are Beyond Anarchy or Beyond Anarchy _TTV.
Alright.
And
that's about it, right? You don't have a Twitter or anything, TikTok, none of that?
Nope, just Instagram and Twitter, Facebook. Facebook's personal.
Yo, what's up, JRD? Just so everyone knows, for the stream, we're gonna not be talking too much. to the chats. We're mainly going to be discussing a lot about BO6 and zombies and what's coming up and everything. At some point, we might possibly open it up to the chat and talk to them about what they like if they are interested in BO6 zombies and all the zombies content in Call of Duty. We'll open it up to you guys probably at some point, but there's these topics that we want to get to. FaZe, I think I sent you an invite to join me. I don't know if it's letting me or not.
Send me one more.
Here.
I think it just...
But yeah, so I'm really excited, guys, for BO6. I guess we'll lay down at least the grounding for the game. Is we know that it's basically Cold War 2.0, which if you guys don't know, me and FaZe really do enjoy some things about Cold War zombies, especially. I know I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a different type of zombies compared to if you went and played BO3, or if you played definitely other zombies, like very old classics such as, BO2 and World at War. It's definitely way, way different. So I have a bunch of topics that we're going to discuss today, especially pertaining to comparing it to some old zombies and what we have now, especially with BO6 coming out. So obviously the biggest thing that I think is really good to kick off the game especially is we're going to talk about Gobblegums, something that obviously was very prevalent in BO3, which then switched to Elixirs in BO4, but we're not going to really talk about that anyway. But so with BO3's Gobblegums, obviously you had to earn liquid divinium to spin, and I know that it was definitely annoying for especially probably me and FaZe, especially when you're trying to go for good Gobblegums, because otherwise you would have to spend money in order to buy liquid divinium to get those Gobblegums. But with this one, as we've seen in some of the trailers and especially the showcases from Activision and Treyarch, they've shown that basically we now can just earn them, and which is interesting. And basically all of it's earnable. That's not to say that they won't sell it in some of the operator packs that are like $20 on the store or whatever. But there's no liquid divinium, and then also we can use 3 at once, and we can pocket them and use them whenever we choose, which I think was a good addition. I don't know how you feel about it, FaZe, but I think personally the Gobblegum system being free to play, and then also being able to use 3 at once or use them whenever you feel like, I feel like it's definitely a lot better Gobblegum system compared in BO3.
Try to send me one more invite. If it
Yeah,
work, then,
is it Beyond Anarchy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I sent you an invite through the game. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, we can always just play our solo games. So what do you think about the Gobblegum system, like, personally?
I'm interested to see how it works this time.
Mm-hmm.
How they're gonna pull it off compared to before.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best thing that they've definitely shown is that it's, it's definitely free to play, and that's something that's gonna really improve the system a lot. I think that just really helps with the gameplay a lot, especially. I will say being able to use 3 at once though seems kind of overkill. But I like the idea of it. I don't know about you, but I like the idea of it just because the strategy-wise, you know what I mean? I think the strategy to the Gobblegums being used, especially for speedruns and Easter eggs, the strategy is going to be definitely way, way more intense because you're adding a new element to where what can make the gameplay easier for me, especially considering these Easter eggs. Supposedly, there's going to be more Easter eggs, and what's it called? What's the first map called again? For BO6, I forgot what it's called.
Liberty Falls, or is that
no? It's the
Terminus
other
one.
Terminus, yeah, Terminus. So Terminus is supposed to have more Easter eggs, and it's their biggest zombies map, and it's supposed to have more Easter eggs than Shadows of Evil, which is interesting because Shadows of Evil has a lot of Easter egg steps and a lot of Easter eggs. So it's very interesting to see how that works. Yeah, I have. It's very interesting. So, Uh, I think so. I think Phase. I think this is the one where you have to have next gen to play with me, even though it's crossplay. I think this is the one. I think the other ones don't, but I'm not too sure. I mean, that's fine. We could just play our solo ones. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll just go ahead and load into a solo Firebase C.
Let me check some. with, as far as I
No,
could
bitch.
see. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot easier, especially with all the new stuff that they're putting in. But do you think it hurts the fan base a lot? Do you think it hurts the hardcore fan base, the people that really have been playing zombies from the start?
I mean, to some degree, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially if like their friend is hopping into the easy version of zombies and just, it probably doesn't make it nearly as enjoyable for someone
Yeah.
who's a hardcore player.
Yeah.
It probably makes it just a lot more like not fun, basically.
Yeah, I could see it. One of the things I definitely understand, like the easy factor of it. It definitely seems a lot easier in comparison to Cold War. The only thing is that they definitely. I know that they've definitely been focusing on this, as you could see. Like they even talk about it. They want to encourage more players to do the Easter eggs. They want to make it easier for zombies people to get in and enjoy the game mode. So, obviously over the years, zombies, right? It's always been
Yeah.
extremely hard, and a lot of players don't really go and play zombies. They mainly go ahead and play, multiplayer campaign stuff like that, Warzone. They don't really pay attention to zombies. But Activision has seemed to make a big turn, especially when it comes to Cold War and MW3 zombies. They really want people to really just get their hands on zombies itself. And that's
I
definitely the
feel
way they're
like
going.
ever since Black Ops 3, I feel like they've definitely turned the direction of zombies in a complete like 180,
Mm-hmm.
basically on its head, and it's incredible because the game was so much slower paced back then, and like just so much more difficult for the casual player to pick up,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
So going back to what you said about the casual player, so I know you said like it probably hurts that hardcore fan base, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
do you think overall, do you think that this is like, do you think them putting like armor and warzoning kind of the type of zombies, do you think this hurts zombies, or do you think like it has its own good appeal about it?
I I think that this could be kind of a good thing. I mean, specifically because we have had armor in past Call of Duty Zombies before Warzone was even really a thing officially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the main game that comes to mind when I think of armor, other than Cold War, and obviously the Modern Warfares, is World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
in that way, we have had it in zombies before, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was overpowered in that game, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like the way Cold War did it, it was a little bit more difficult with the armor rather than the overpowered World War II style.
So a lot of people hate the armor system, right? For Cold War, and they think it just makes things way too easy, stuff like that. So I would argue, so a lot of people were saying like they still hate it. So in BO6, I don't know if you know this, but they made self revives limited. So in Cold War, obviously you can craft as many as you want, right? As long as you
And
have
find them on the ground. Don't forget
and
that. Enemies can drop
yeah,
them.
so enemies can drop them. You can craft as many as you want,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't matter, right? So
Yeah.
they changed that, and so self revives are limited. Armor also, when it drops, is going to be more limited than it used to be. Which I don't know how you feel about that. Also, ammo when it drops in BO6 it's not going to drop as often. So they're kind of nerfing the drops from zombies
They're
more.
basically nerfing the drops into the ground. I hope it's not into the ground literally, though, because those drops are going to be necessary, especially later rounds, like, say, round 30 or above, you know? Those drops of ammo and even those, like, power-ups, those are going to be
Mm-hmm.
a lot more necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've seen in the past, once you get to round 30 and above, it pretty much becomes necessary to be getting max ammo and, you know, just ammo drops and
So for me, I personally
stuff like
that
that.
they went back to the self-revive system being limited to 3. I mean, they replaced it. I mean, quick revive doesn't mean what it used to now. Quick revive used to be, especially if you're in solo, that would basically be your self-revive, right?
Yep.
So now that self-revives are in, quick revive has changed. It's been tweaked since Cold War what it actually does. So obviously you revive people faster, but instead of being a self-revive, instead the way it works is that you regenerate health faster. So it basically aids in the perk to Juggernog, obviously. You know, so instead it is kind of changed over the years. Instead of being a self-revive, it is now changed into that. So how do you feel about them kind of changing the way that works specifically?
I feel like what they did with that is, and there is, like, if you upgrade it in Cold War, obviously there is a way to make it so you get your health back a little bit faster and quicker if you have quick revive. So I feel like they did more of a thing where they just kind of took one of those upgrades and they just kind of moved it into being the perk. I mean, and then they just kind of took away, you know, the other effect, which is, oh, this is basically, you know, self revive, basically for solo players, and for the co-op players, it's revive speed.
Yeah, to me, I don't really care necessarily about the fact that quick revive has changed over the years. I like the idea of self revives, and I like that they limited it because, I mean, that's a good ad. I think it was way too overpowered in Cold War, and everyone knows that. Being able to craft as many as you want, because high rounds salvage drops fairly like a lot.
I think we can agree here. Self-revives definitely drop a lot more often on the higher rounds.
Yep.
I mean, I've gotten one on like round 3 before, but obviously, like I'm saying, they do drop a lot more when you're on the higher rounds, such as like round 15, round 20. You have a much higher chance to get it than, say, you're at the start of the game. Or like round 5 or something. Like,
Bro, I can't.
Yeah.
It's a fucking serum about.
I mean, I mean, self-revives, I'm glad that they're kind of back to being limited. I think that's a necessary change to make the game a little bit more difficult. I actually really do like the idea of ammo being limited, and then also armor as well being limited. And the only reason why I say that is one specific reason, and that's due to the fact, like, you're right, they shouldn't nerf it to the ground, right? Like, I noticed a lot of people were saying that when they got to play the showcase of it, that it seemed like it was nerfed to the ground, right? Like, especially the ammo drops. So that makes high rounds almost impossible now, you know what I mean? So that does make it a little bit more harder on people for high rounds. But to me, I don't really care necessarily about that. I'm glad that it's kind of turned back because it makes it too easy. So I really, really do enjoy that. But kind of going back to like the Warzone-esque of zombies, going back to like the armor system. So they changed it in BO6. I don't know if you saw with Liberty Falls. But with the armor system, you basically buy the different tiers off the wall. So instead of crafting it, they all cost different amounts of money, but you buy it off the wall in different areas. I think that's a massive improvement rather than just going to the station and having to craft it. I think that's a really good add. I don't know how you feel about that personally, but I really, really enjoy that they kind of
I will
changed
say,
it.
in terms of the later tiers, I feel like that's definitely a good thing. As for like tier 1, I don't have a problem with the way it used to be because tier 1 of armor was always like very easy to get and you would have it almost right off the bat. Like it was very early in the rounds that you would get something like that. So that does bring me to something though.
Yeah.
Not exactly relating to all of this, but it is part of zombies. I thought I would talk about the Rampage Inducer that is in Firebase.
Yes.
Now, I gotta wonder if they're gonna bring this back somehow.
It is. It is. It's already been showcased. The Rampage Inducer is on round 1. It is there, and you can disable it and enable it whenever you want on whatever round. The first beginning round, you can enable it in the starting room on, I imagine, on Terminus and then also Liberty Falls. You can enable it, so I really like that as well coming back. That's really interesting. I think that does add a lot to the game as well. It's really good that they're bringing that back. I did not mean to buy that for 8K. I don't know what I just did in zombies, but okay. Basically, yeah, that's coming back. Another thing that is also that I really like, that I know you are probably a big fan of as well, in solos, we can have a match save. We can save one match of the solo zombies, leave, and restart it whenever we want.
That is definitely going to be very interesting. They also said that basically you're going to be able to save that, and it's going to save, like, right basically once you've entered that round, or whatever, or something like that. And it's going to save very often. So the chances of you not being able to, you know, go back and play immediately is very, very low. Like, you're going to be able to basically kick off from where you were, even if your game, like, say, crashes or something.
Yeah, I really like that, them bringing a solo function to the game where you could save and pause and reload back into it whenever. There is only one save slot, which is good. I think we don't need multiple save slots for it anyway. I think it's just kind of there as a precaution anyway, and I like that. That does, and keep in mind for anyone watching, that doesn't mean that duos, squads, trios, whatever you played in, it's only for solos. So it's a solo only.
I mean, maybe in the future we'll get something like that, but you know, just not now.
It's a solo only feature, and it's a brand new feature.
I think it's good though for, you know, someone like me who's always making videos on it and stuff like that. And I'm always going to be playing a lot of solo to make most of those videos.
Yeah.
So,
also, just a quick little intermission as well. I want to just thank everyone, of course, for watching this video. If you're still watching this, thank you guys again. If you guys want to go ahead and put your comments down below what you guys would like to see in a future episode with me and FaZe, or especially make sure you go and check out Venom Anarchy on all of his platforms. All links will be in the description for you guys as well. We also, me and FaZe, do plan on playing BO6 Zombies together, so it's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you guys stay tuned when that comes out, October 25th. I don't know if we'll be playing the first day together. It kind of depends on how things come out, you know, especially our work schedules and everything. But we are going to be playing some BO6 Zombies together, doing the Easter eggs together.
Don't you all worry, I will have the Vault Edition.
Yes, we both will have the Vault Edition. We're going to have fun. We're going to all experience zombies together. Also, like I said, guys, if you guys have any topics that you want us to, open up and discuss on, make sure you guys go ahead and comment those down below. And we'll definitely go ahead and bring it up, and we'll even give you guys a shout out as well when we bring up those topics. I wanted to get into kind of the next topic of discussion. I wanted to get into how we feel about possibly, especially with the new Easter eggs coming out, and how we think the Easter eggs are going to be in BO6. Because, I mean, they've made a bold claim for Terminus. We don't know much about Liberty Falls, and I want to put Liberty Falls aside here because there's something else I want to talk about with Liberty Falls. But something that we both know is that they are claiming that Terminus is going to have more Easter eggs than Shadows of Evil. Now, if anyone knows, Shadows of Evil has the most Easter eggs out of any zombies map in history. So, with them making that type of claim, how do you personally feel about it, FaZe? Like, do you think that's a good idea, or like a good thing, or are you looking forward to that?
I am looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm just wondering what all that could entail, because, I mean, that's just a huge amount of Easter eggs. I mean, thinking about just going back to Shadows and thinking about just how many Easter eggs were on that map. And then you just have, and whether it be like small Easter eggs, you know, the main Easter egg, some sort of quest Easter egg to unlock an item, you know, any of the above. Like, even if it's like just a small like Easter egg, like reference type thing, like, that's just crazy that there would be so much in the map. I mean, that's bizarre, almost. Would be my word.
I hate it, but I also like it, and I'll give my reasonings for why I hate it. So them saying this is going to have the most Easter eggs out of any zombies map they've ever made. Keep in mind, this is also the largest round-based zombies map they've ever also made as well, which I'll give my take on that after, you know, this whole thing about the Easter eggs. I hate it only because, think about it. What if it's just a bunch of, like, yeah, they have the main Easter egg, right? But then it's just a bunch of mini Easter eggs that they claim, oh, there's like 20 Easter eggs, but they're all like miniature Easter eggs that don't really matter that much, right?
Or what if it's something like, for say, like it's like a Der Eisendrache Origin style where they got like, you know, all these elemental guns, like, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, I that's my only worry, is that it's just a bunch of smaller Easter eggs that don't really matter. They're claiming, from the marketing standpoint, that this is going to have the most Easter eggs out of any zombies map, right? That worries me only because of that. Now, going on to what I like about that, that means so much more content and stuff for you and me, and it also makes the game sound so much better. Like, them claiming that it's going to have more Easter eggs than Shadows of Evil makes me so hyped to play Terminus. Like, it makes me really, really want to get my hands on Terminus and just start playing already. Like, I really like the idea of them saying, hey, this is the most amount of Easter eggs we've ever had in a zombies map. Like, I really like that they are bold and they're claiming that, and I really like that, because that can mean a lot of these Easter eggs are super meaningful. They're either funny or hilarious, or they add so much content in the game, especially for you and me, from a content standpoint. And that's what I really, really like about it. Now, going back to kind of like the map size, being one of the biggest zombies play areas that's round-based, personally, I don't think that matters. To me, I think that's a cool way to market it. But, I mean, let's be honest here. They had Outbreak. Outbreak, yes. Funny as you guys think that it isn't, they did technically have round-based. Was it round-based? Not really. They didn't really call it that, but it was round-based, because if you think about it, it was counted by worlds or dimensions that you went into. Technically, it's round-based. I mean, I like to call it round-based, open world round-based, because that's basically what it was. I know that it's probably not considered that for a lot of people, but that's what I consider it to be. So them claiming it's the biggest play area they've made, that doesn't necessarily matter to me. I think the map looks good. I'm excited to see the
I
map.
feel like that was a claim to draw in players, mostly.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think most Zombies players are excited to see Terminus, though. I don't know about you, but I think Terminus will probably be the better map out of Liberty Falls, probably.
Terminus gives me Mob of the Dead vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it does.
Mob of the Dead, Blood of the Dead vibes, big time.
Bro, they fucking raised the one I know.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of as well. I'm really excited to get my hands on it. I think I'm gonna like Terminus more than Liberty Falls. But I wanted to talk about Liberty Falls for a little bit, because that's going to be the big discussion of the game, especially probably the bigger discussion of this podcast. You know, with Liberty Falls, a lot of people hate it. First look at it, everyone hate it. I don't really understand the Liberty Falls hate, and I'll get into the reason why I think Liberty Falls is actually going to be a great map. But I want to hear what your opinion first off of Liberty Falls, especially you could even touch on what you saw from the Easter egg, not the Easter egg, but the cutscene that they showed case for Liberty Falls with Richtofen. But what do you personally think about the Liberty Falls map?
Thought the Richtofen cutscene, let's start out with that, was absolutely amazing. I'm just trying to carry the wonder off. That whole scene just looks so cool. Yeah, not to mention just the map looked really cool from what you could see. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff you could see in the area, and from what you could see, it definitely looked interesting. I mean,
so going back to what you said about the cutscenes before we kind of dive more into the map and like why people hate it and what people think, I think that was the best Zombies teaser or for a map, or even cutscene for a map we've ever gotten. That was an insane cutscene. Just seeing our boy Richtofen back, coming in loaded up with the Wonderwaff, and especially the ending, seeing Sam grab him and take him into the Dark Aether, which I imagine that's exactly what happened. And at the end, hearing Sam's voice saying, because, you know, we know that Richtofen basically says, Sam, you'll never beat me, or you'll never get out, you'll never escape, because that's what he says to her. And Sam saying, but I already am, or I already have. I think that's one of the coolest things ever, because now we're going to really see the new story or dynamic between those two, Richtofen and Sam. We know that we've seen them before, obviously, in the previous storylines that they've made, but we know this is a completely different storyline. Now we're in the Dark Aether storyline, and it's a completely different one. So it's interesting to see their dynamic again. I really love that Maxis is back. I'm glad, because, you know, Maxis at the end, we know that she sacrificed herself. She got tricked by Richtofen to do so. I'm glad that she's coming back. I do have my theories, which we'll talk about later, and like what we expect or what we hope to see in BO6 later on in this podcast episode. But I'm excited to see Liberty Falls, and I'll kind of go into what I expect from the map and what I think people have wrong about the map, and then I'll let you kind of talk about it. I think people are misunderstanding this map completely. Face value, the map does look like another Warzone type of Zombies map. But I think because of the limited gameplay, no Easter eggs enabled, and knowing that Pack-a-Punch is in a Dark Aether realm that you have to teleport into, I think that the Easter egg for Liberty Falls will be one of the coolest Easter eggs that we've seen besides whatever's on Terminus. And the reason why I have a theory that a lot of people have also said, is that with the base of Richtofen obviously being that one of his bases, I think what will happen is there will be an outbreak in the town, which we will be in, but I think there'll be a point where we can teleport into the facility that Richtofen's at, because, you know, we see it in the background, that Richtofen's facility. And we know that we're going to definitely be able to go to the basement where Sam is, and we don't know at this point if Sam is still in there or locked in there, or what the case is with that. We'll probably find out a little bit more kind of going into the game itself. We'll find out like what they plan on doing for that. but we know that we're going to be able to explore this facility probably.
So low.
So, with knowing that,
No.
that we're going to be able to explore this facility, that it's going to probably be part of the Easter egg, we're probably also going to see, obviously, what's it called? We're going to also probably be able to see that maybe the town itself turns into the Dark Aether. What if there's a breach that turns the whole map into the Dark Aether? Because I feel like there's more to the map itself, because you know how in the Pack-a-Punch area we go into the Dark Aether and then we look up and it's just the Dark Aether area, right? So there has to be more to the map, right? Because the rest of the map itself has nothing to do with the Dark Aether. We know that Richtofen built a secret underground facility called Project Janus, right? To obviously whatever he was doing to explore the Dark Aether or whatever he was doing down there. So we know that we're going to probably be able to go to this facility, and with the limited gameplay, it's hard to tell how that's going to happen. But I have a feeling that we are going to go to this facility, right? I think Maxis is actually going to be the villain of the series, and I think Richtofen is actually not the bad guy of the story. I think that by the end of BO6, we're going to be fighting Maxis. I think that Richtofen's, yes, had probably bad intentions for the uses of the Dark Aether, but wouldn't it be so cool if the Easter egg involved us bringing Richtofen out of the Dark Aether? How cool would that be on Liberty Falls for the Easter egg for us to save Richtofen and for him to come out of the Dark Aether? How cool would that be? That would be awesome. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy seeing that. The other thing is that I really think will be really cool as well is we're definitely going to find out what happened to Maxis, because it sounds like she's been corrupted almost in some sort of way. That the Dark Aether finally took its turn on her, or something's going on, you know, with her. And also we know that there's not a set crew for Liberty Falls. We know that there's actually, it's just a strike team that's getting sent to investigate. So we know that obviously with Terminus, there's a set crew. We got Weaver, we got all the classic
Yeah, that's
people.
another thing that we should talk about a little bit, is our characters for Terminus. Because
yeah, we got the classic crew back together. We got Weaver, we got this new character, I forgot her name. I'll have to look up her name. She
actually sounds like she's really cool.
We know that she's working with Perk and she's trying to find her brother. So I imagine one of the main Easter egg parts will probably be finding her brother on Terminus, probably, is my assumption.
Another thing, they have mentioned the voice lines for the characters. Apparently, if you're playing as other characters, you're not going to get unique voice lines, which I believe they're going to do something similar to what they did in Cold War, but if they don't, then that would still make sense. I mean,
well,
as
I think
those other operators aren't really part of, like, that, you know.
I think that's the good thing. I think that's what we should talk about, especially
honestly.
the operators when it comes to these maps and the set characters. I like the idea of that they're bringing back the set characters. I like that. And if you play as the set characters, there'll be an option to do that. You get those unique voice lines and they matter more to the story, and you'll get all those cool voice lines and all that. But if you're just a normal casual zombies player, you don't feel like doing that, you feel like wearing an operator skin, you can do so. You won't get those unique voice lines, but I think what they're trying to do, and this we'll probably talk about more, is they're trying to balance between casuals and hardcore and also new players. They want to encourage new players to play more. And that's kind of hard, especially when, you know, let's just say someone spends $20 on a bunch of operator skins or whatever, and they want to wear those, but you're forcing them to wear a set skin, operators. I understand that, because a lot of people don't really care about the zombie story necessarily. I know you and me are really big on the zombie storyline. We really care about the set operators. It's glad to see those back. And I gotta be honest, what a better way than to showcase and bring back the classic zombies characters such as Weaver, the Doctor, forgot his name, and then we got the new character, which I don't remember her name as well. Just all these characters being brought back to, especially to be set characters, especially Weaver being one of my favorites as well to return. But kind of going back to Liberty Falls, I think it's too quick to judge. I think people are judging the, especially the game a little bit too early. I think the map when it comes out, if it ends up not being that crazy, we'll see what happens with that. And they are kind of, showcasing it as this is kind of a bonus map. You know what I mean? Like, the main map is Terminus, and I think that's what we're really going for. And, Terminus is going to be the big boy of the series. It's going to be the first round-based map to really start and kick off the game. I wanted to talk to you real quick, especially because they did announce on a recent podcast with Mr. DJ Dalek, they do like a Call of Duty Zombies podcast. They announced that we are getting a third Zombies map before the end of the year. So I want to know what you think about that.
Exciting.
Personally, I'm excited because that's never happened in Call of Duty history for them to drop 3. But does, or are you hoping that this map
story map? I mean, I don't think they're gonna put in something like MW, where they did the whole Warzone zombies formula. I don't feel like that's the agenda here, honestly. So, I mean, even if they did push something like that, I would hope it would be better than MW Zombies. I mean...
Well, also, I think the big talking point for us to talk about, especially as well, is if you think about it, this is Treyarch, we're talking about here, right? Like, Treyarch makes good zombies, and they do a decent job at continuing to make the good zombies that they need to. I also think that I think we are kind of quicker to judge, especially off Liberty Falls, because we didn't really get anything, to really showcase the map at all. Terminus, we got a little bit more. Terminus looks more like a zombies feel. It's dark, it's eerie. A lot of people pointed out that Liberty Falls would look better if it was dark, you know what I mean? If it was nighttime. Yeah. And that's a good point to bring out. If it was more of a dark theme, it probably would look a little bit better. And maybe eventually they will add that option, that might be an option in the future where
to like add dark mode, where the game is just a lot more like darker themed and just a lot more of a like brutal style sorta to the game, like not necessarily gameplay wise, but like graphics wise.
Well, I want to kind of dive away from like the maps themselves. I mean, overall, I think the maps, like, kind of to wrap it up, is the maps look really good this year. I don't think you or me are like really necessarily complaining too much on the maps. I think the maps are really kind of showcasing, that so far looks not too bad. I think we're in for a good year of zombies. This is a 4-year production Call of Duty. If they mess it up, then, I mean, that I don't have hope for them at that point, you know what I mean? So I hope it's good, and I think we're really looking forward to that. I kind of want to push the ball towards the upgrade system, and we'll kind of go into what Cold War's upgrade system is like and how we like it and stuff like that. But, let's dive into kind of like what Cold War did. Cold War has a system where it's with upgrade crystals or Ethereum crystals. I don't know about you, personally. I really enjoy the Ethereum crystals.
Hope it returns. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't be mad.
So it isn't for this one. It is a little bit different this year. They're augments. So instead, you will earn them, but you'll get one major augment, which you could choose from. I think there's 3 for each perk. that you could choose from that you have to earn by just playing zombies. You can't upgrade, you can't like get them that way. You just have to survive rounds.
I like
and
this
play.
idea. This is definitely more interesting than what they did in BO4.
And
with
then
the
you
whole,
get
you have to run one perk in a slot to get the whole, you know.
And then
special ability
you get one minor augment, and it's for every gun class, every perk. Everything gets an upgrade augment or anything. You just have to earn them in the game, right? That's all you have to do is completely.
I like this idea of playing to earn stuff. I mean, it's definitely more of a. It definitely sinks you deeper into like the gameplay. And I feel like that is definitely something they have done a good job with so far, is giving people reasons to play.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think they've done a pretty good job at, you know, especially making it to where giving you more of a reason to really grind zombies, and that's something I've really enjoyed, especially.
Opening the door.
And I think
especially
that's
Cold War. I
yeah.
remember that. That was definitely very fun to grind out.
Yes, yes,
and
absolutely.
I feel like there was always like something fun or satisfying about grinding out Cold War. Definitely compared to something like BO3 or
yeah, and I think
MW
I think
Zombies
it gives us a
even,
reason to really grind, and that's one thing I really want to talk about as well when it comes to the camos and kind of sidestep it a little bit. But with the augments, I think that you and me both agree. We really like that it adds more content to the game and allows more like, okay, I have a reason to sit here and play zombies for, you know, the whole day. Like, it gives us a reason more to enjoy and play more, which is good. There's another aspect I wanted to talk to you about, especially when it comes to the camos this year. You don't need to level up your guns anymore to earn any camos. All you have to do is do the challenges for them. So how do you feel like the camo change in this game will be a lot better for especially casual players, not only them, but especially people like, you know, especially for me, camo grinders? Like, how do you think it's going to really affect the camo grinding of the game?
I think it's going to make it a little bit less tedious, and honestly, I think even the people who are huge camo grinders like you, and even kind of like me too, would definitely find this a more enjoyable kind of thing than what it has been in the past, because in the past it's definitely taken a long time to get all of them. Even till like almost the game basically is done, I mean, in some cases, and that is just monstrous. I'm very happy with the whole weapon levels and how they've handled it. Specifically, like, because they've definitely gone down in terms of that in the past few games. I mean, I'm noticing less and less weapon levels as we go on in the game, so that's definitely a huge improvement.
Personally, for me, I really like that, because it makes camo grinding easier for me. The camos this year for zombies look good. I don't really like the last camo because it's literally just a copy from MWZ zombies. It's literally just an exact copy. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting much from the camos. That personally, you know, it is what it is. But I think that overall, I think it's good for especially players that really don't grind camos. It now gives you an incentive to really want to grind camos and actually want to do it. So I think that mostly, they're like, the way I look at what Treyarch's doing, they really want to promote, you know, casual players to really just try all the features. And yes, does that make camo grinding easier and make it like, okay, a little bit easier to make it like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do camos anymore? Does it make it boring after you get all the camos? Probably. But personally, I really enjoy that they kind of are, you know, doing that. I'm happy that they've decided to make it easier, especially for players that don't really grind camos, because I know you grind some camos, but you you probably don't grind them all the time, you know what I mean? Because they're kind of tedious for a lot of people.
So no, I mean, if you know me, I've maybe grinded 3 of the assault rifles, 3 of the SMGs and zombies. Like, it's definitely not my, like, primary thing in terms of, like, grinding. I'm more focused on, you know, leveling up and getting through the rounds and that type stuff, rather than, you know, oh, cool, you know, I got my, you know, stuff. Like, it's just, it's different.
So, kind of, quickly, we'll kind of rapid fire some of these other ones because they're kind of smaller. So let's talk about, obviously, the wonder weapons this year. I guess this is not as small, but we got, obviously, the confirmed ones. We have this new wonder weapon for Terminus. It's like, it looks similar to it's almost like the Wonder Waff mixed with the staff. It looks a little bit, it's like a ray gun almost, but basically has 2 functions, kind of like the Ray K from Firebase Z. It can stun zombies within the radius, but it also can just shoot a laser and kill a bunch of zombies, so that's interesting. That wonder weapon, I'm not really crazy. Like, I'm just like, okay, that's really cool. That's an interesting one. Of course, you have to bring back the ray gun. Everyone knows this. They did redesign the look of the ray gun. It looks pretty much the same, but they designed the
I'm gonna say this right now. I really hope that we don't get something like the elemental ray guns from Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
Here, like anytime soon. I do not want that to be a feature at all in terms of like wonder weapons, because I'm fine with like the bows and the stabs and that stuff, but this whole, you know, multiple elemental ray guns, it feels really copy and paste, first of all, and second of all, it just feels like, why? I mean, I get player choice and like freedom, but also, why push it into something like the Easter egg so much? I mean,
yeah,
you're really relying on people to do a lot of confusing and hard steps for beginners to be getting it.
Yeah, so the other weapon that I think you and me were pretty excited to see make a return was the jet gun. We haven't seen that in a long time. That was very cool to see the jet gun return. They definitely changed it. It doesn't have the same functionality what it did on Transit. It's definitely changed. We know that it definitely doesn't work the same, which is good. And also, it's really good to see it make a return. So I don't know how you feel about it, but you know, I really enjoyed seeing that make a return. I'm excited to get my hands on it and see how it works. The gameplay looked pretty decent with it. It looked really good. No complaints here for that. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I mean, the jet gun is probably the most exciting thing for wonder weapons so far. I do like the other wonder weapon, but it's not like a main focus for me. It's a little interesting. I don't know if you feel this way as well, but I feel like the way they showed, especially with the Richthofen cutscene, I feel like they should have added not the ray gun into that map, and they should have put the Wonder Waff and the jet gun in there. Or what if the Wonder Waff is gonna be in the box? It just wasn't showcased, so they didn't put it in. Because I feel like it's a little misleading, to be honest. I feel like it's just a little misleading.
Something I'm definitely interested to see is, you know, what if we had gotten, you know, something different, perhaps? What if we had gotten a mix, and it had been the jet gun and the Wonder Waff?
Yeah, because honestly, the ray gun's cool, but, I mean, I'd rather the ray gun be on Terminus with this new one, which it probably will be. But I hope that the Wonder Waff does make a return just in one of these maps. I want it to be kind of like a side one. I don't want it to be the main wonder weapon of the map. Because, I mean, we've gotten it so many times.
No issue with the ray gun being something similar to what the Wonder Waff was on Black Ops 1 where you could get it on that one map as just an Easter egg type thing. I honestly wouldn't have a problem with that. Or even if it's just like a one item you can possibly get in the box. I mean, either way, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think that, kind of to steer away from the wonder weapons, but I think, again, I think me and FaZe are both excited for the jet gun. I think that's the main thing we've been excited for, because it looked really cool, and that's, it's big return is going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
Also, another, interesting thing I wanted to talk about that I keep on hearing people say, and it's that this game is, too futuristic. Apparently.
Interesting. I have not seen anyone say it's futuristic.
Now I will tell you, I was squatting up in some Modern Warfare Zombies. It was the last time I basically ever played it. So I did about 3 games that day, I want to say, and I believe this was about the second that I was playing squads, and I had some 3 teammates basically tell me that they thought it was just looking too futuristic. And
that is an interesting take. I'm gonna be honest with everyone here about BO6 looking futuristic. It is not futuristic at all. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. I heavily disagree. The zombies is definitely not futuristic. We know this from the setting of the game. It's based after Cold War, based after the issues with Soviet Russia and all that. This is all about the CIA and there being spies and stuff like that. So the setting of the game is not futuristic in the slightest. So I'm interested to see where they thought it was futuristic necessarily. That is interesting.
And the main arguments I was hearing here was both the, and we haven't gone into this yet, but the fact that we saw you could turn into a mangler, basically.
Yeah.
And do that whole thing, but also the whole jet gun. So both of these, I feel like, are the main reasons people are thinking that this is so futuristic. I mean...
So, to argue against that, the whole mangler turning into zombie thing, a lot of people claim that's like one of the biggest like zombies, like that's what makes zombies. People are like saying like, oh, that is a zombie type of thing to add, which I think is a really good idea. I think that's actually a fantastic idea that they decided to add a mutant injection to where you could turn into a mangler. Like, that is just so cool to me. I think that's a really good ad, and I'm really
I mean, and
happy
it's
they
totally,
added
it's not like something totally unrealistic in the sense that, you know, you're not turning into like a mimic or
yeah,
you know, something like that from the past, where it's been like, it's not like you're turning into the Shadow Man or something, you know, or like just something totally unrealistic, like
yes,
like an Apothecon or something. Like,
yeah,
it's very grounded with what they chose for you to turn into. I mean, it's a very realistic option compared to a lot of the other like zombie type enemies that you could have turned into. I mean, like, just imagine if we could turn into a hellhound. Like, that would just be so weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's a good ad. You know, and also like I think that's probably as zombies as you can get. Like, it's really cool. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's cool, but
it fits.
Yeah,
That's
as to the
my main
futuristic
argument
claim,
there.
kind of to like move it towards the conclusion of that, I don't think it's futuristic. I think that's kind of a weird claim.
And actually, I would kind of argue that MW Zombies is a little bit more futuristic than.
Oh well, oh
this
yeah,
is.
oh
I mean,
yes, yes. And it's. I mean, keep in mind, MW3 Zombies. Unfortunately, we see the first cutscene of it where we see the whole zombies crew from BO6 on a table and they're dead next to an Ethereum extractor. So we see that they're already dead. So that kind of closes their story for BO6. But again, like, that is more futuristic than BO6. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, that is a pre-sequel to 6. The way the story works.
I can't do anything about that.
So, I don't know about that claim anyway, but, kind of to move it on a little bit.
I mean, I'm just gonna call it bogus for now, and you know, if something comes up about it later, then I can bring it up or whatever,
we can absolutely discuss it more. Absolutely. So I wanted to talk about some of the new changes, especially when it comes to the Pack-a-Punch system and the new augment system, or not augment, ammo mod system. So with what's it called, the Pack-a-Punch system and the augment system, now there's no pop-up feature for Pack-a-Punch. You just go up, you hold X or square, depending on what console, or even on PC, it depends. You just go and Pack-a-Punch. So there's no screen that pops up, so that makes it easier for you to not get trapped by zombies. You just walk up, press X, whatever, leave it. And then also with the ammo mods, it's no longer in the Pack-a-Punch machine. So unlike Cold War, where in Cold War it pops up a menu, there's ammo mods in there as well. Ammo mods are now its own separate thing, and they're in a different bench now. So I don't know how you feel about that. I think that's a massive overhaul improvement. I do like that ammo mods are still available in the game. But I do think ammo mods, to be honest, if we can dive deeper into it, but I think ammo mods as a whole have kind of become a little bit more useless over the years, just due to the fact the weaponry system kind of already takes that out, especially elemental pop being in the game kind of takes away the need for ammo mods. But
I feel like the only real advantage to having elemental pop is you get the extra, if it doesn't pop right away, you get a higher chance to get an elemental, variant, or you can get all the different elemental variants in that situation versus oh well, you can only get one if you go upgrade your weapon.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the only real advantage, is you can eventually brain rod and all that different stuff, freeze your enemies and do all that with the same gun, rather than have to switch to another weapon for a different effect. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Kind of ping-ponging off that, I think that ammo mods, I think are useful, but I don't think they, personally to me, they're not as big as use as they used to be, which is fine. Ammo mods have been whatever. I mean, they're cool. I like them. I'm glad that they're in the game. But, the main thing is, I really like the new UI changes that they're doing. Pack-a-Punch no longer having a pop-up menu makes it so much easier for a zombies player to just run quickly straight by it and get out as fast as possible. Because, especially in those high rounds when you're going for Pack 3, you may be trailing zombies and they just, in Cold War, I know this to be certain, you would have to wait specifically for a round to end before you could even get a chance to go sometimes. And that's just kind of how it's always been.
Yes, Pack-a-Punch has been, and upgrading weapons has definitely been, more of a harder thing to do on those higher rounds. In, Cold War, I can tell you personally, because I've done it on, round 45 in the starting area, and it is definitely not easy. Especially on Firebase. You will get swarmed.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
yeah, good change.
I feel like in the early rounds, if you do it at the start of the round, you're fine. I feel like Pack 1 is very easy. Pack 2 is a little bit more challenging, especially if you're solo. It gets even more challenging. The solo players definitely felt that, because getting that third pack can be really difficult on maps like Firebase. And even if I'm moving away from that, there's a lot of maps say D Machine, that has a very interesting Pack-a-Punch location. So it would be very interesting to see how that works in this game.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, those are just some of the quick changes. A lot of people were complaining about the HUD. We don't really have to go too much into it. I think the HUD is fine. Yeah, it doesn't really look zombified. It's not like BO3's where zombies for BO3 is, you know, especially the HUD in that looks more zombies-like. I don't really have a problem with the HUD for the newer zombie-type games. I don't really have an issue with it. It's not really a problem to me necessarily. I think people who complain about it, I understand where they're coming from, but also at the same point, like, you know, you enjoy what you like. You know, it is what it is. I like both. Don't have an issue with people liking one or the other. It's never been a problem for me.
Back to ammo mods for a real quick
second
here. Okay, so I will tell you the only 2 ammo mods I am consistently running, or I should say only 3, is Dead Wire, Brain Rot, and Shatter Blast. I don't really use Cryo Freeze or Napalm Burst that often. I honestly feel like they're more of the like moderate style ones. Even if you get them to like that final upgrade, it just feels like they don't pop that often, so it's not really that useful. I feel like though with Brain Rot, you get the zombies that you hit with it end up turning, especially if you have it so you can turn the special enemies. That is definitely a pro to Brain Rot. As well as Shatter Blast is also very useful because you can destroy armor on nearby enemies and also get some bonus kills.
I just got the Ray K. That's exactly what I wanted.
Which is why I run Shatter Blast, actually, is because often, once you get to like round 10, you start getting a lot more like armored zombies, and it just becomes a real pain to have to aim for their head every single time while being like absolutely mobbed by zombies. I mean, I'll let you give your opinion on it, but
okay, here's my opinion. I think ammo mods, you know, over the years have lost their value, and I think that it's okay for us to move away from ammo mods. And I will say exactly why I think we should, you know, move away from it. We have Elemental Pop. I think as long as they don't involve any Easter eggs that require ammo mods, I think Elemental Pop covers pretty much all the ammo mods. Do I think ammo mods should probably stay in the game? Yeah, I think Dead Wire and Brain Rot are the only 2 useful ones, though. Realistically, no one's using Cryo, no one's using the Fire one, and no one really, like, Shatter Blast is good for Manglers, but that's about it. Like, no one really cares too much about those.
I will definitely say it kind of depends on the weapons you have. If you have really, really strong weapons, I feel like that you can really easily take out the Manglers. But I feel like also this is a Cold War rarity system issue.
Oh, shoot! I forgot Orta spawns in Firebase C.
On round 30?
Oh,
and above.
Man, I
like
forgot.
30, 40, 50. It's like every 10 after 30.
Oh, man, I really forgot. Going back to what you were saying about ammo mods. Anyways, we'll kind of move away from ammo mods. Personally, ammo mods are just, it doesn't really matter to me whether or not they're in or not. Never really cared too much about it, but...
One more quick thing. As for the perks, do you have a particular preference between cans or bottles?
Yeah, I saw that. People were hating on the cans. It doesn't matter to me.
I think the cans are great. It
doesn't matter if they're cans, bottles. It doesn't matter even if we want to include Infinite Warfare. It doesn't matter if it's candy in boxes. I don't care.
I personally wouldn't mind the Infinite Warfare zombies in Spaceland, little, you know, candies that you eat, and then get, like, you know, those perks. I mean, I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah, they should
I really don't care what direction they go with, like, how we consume them. As long as we're not, like, consuming actual, like, food and just, like, throwing it in our mouths, like, then I would be perfectly fine. Like, you're not gonna pop an apple pie in your mouth and, you know, oh, there's stamina up, you know, like. But as far as everything else goes, yeah, the cans are great, the bottles are great. I mean,
I lost all my armor.
I feel that those are really good, for sure. We should start talking about what we think about each of the perks, probably.
Oh, I mean, there's not much to talk about the perk list, to be honest. The perks are the same as Cold War. The only thing they're adding is melee macchiato, which, I mean, is what it is. Not really a crazy difference to me.
What's your preference when it comes to perks? What are your main ones?
Obviously you need Jug. You know, Jug is the main perk of the game. I mean, let's be honest with each other here. Main perk of the game. I will say this,
I probably won't find myself running Quick Revive too much. I mean, there's so many other perks to choose from at this point, and Quick Revive is just not on my priority list. Even playing co-op, like, Quick Revive is not on my priority list. And, you know, if the person I'm playing with wants to leave because of that, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Because the other ones are so much, like, more valuable than the whole Quick Revive situation. I mean, like, especially speed and Jug, like, those are huge. Especially stamina up, like, for me, that's gonna be, like, the main three that I run every time. So it's just going to be a matter of picking what I want my last perk to be.
I made a mistake, kind of to switch it, but I made a mistake, man. I couldn't defeat Orda because, unfortunately, my Reiki is only pack 1, so that's unfortunate. I have to restart the reactor. But anyways, yeah. The other thing I want to get into is stuff that we would like to see come out in BO6 Zombies. So what are some things that you think, if Treyarch decided to add it, for example, it would massively make you love the game a lot more? Like, what are some things you expect
that would make me love the game more?
Things that you would personally love to see them add and to improve.
As far as improve goes, I would say improve the pistols, for one. Cold War seemed to be very lackey when it came to this, unless the rarity was, like, all the way at the top. It always seemed like my pistol was, like, falling behind. My specific example, again, is the 1911. This just did not seem good. Even if I had it, like, pack-a-punched, it always felt like it was lacking in some way. Like, the damage always felt like it just wasn't enough, especially against the special zombies.
Yeah.
Or the armored ones. I always felt like I found myself shooting a whole clip into them, or more. Like, even during, like, Ring of Fire sometimes. Like,
yes.
Still felt like I was just, like, putting way too many bullets in some of the zombies. And unless I had that rarity maxed out, or, like, almost maxed out, it felt like it was, like, very, very weak.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's another thing, like, in terms of luck, like, that whole fact that they had the whole rarity system with the scrap was extremely annoying, because sometimes you would be trying to max out your weapon and you would just be waiting rounds after rounds.
Oh, I forgot
to get it.
To go back to the scrap, I forgot we didn't mention it. So everything that you see in front of you is exclusive only to you, and only you can pick it up. So whatever drops in front of you and you see it, that's your drop. So no one can steal salvage anymore or steal armor or anything off the ground like Cold War. They changed it completely to be like, this is yours if it drops, which is good.
Okay,
I like
you did
that.
mention things I would want them to like bring back or like somewhat introduce.
Oh, also you can tag team buying doors. That's another feature I really like as well. I'm glad that
I
they're
will
bringing
say,
that in.
I think, along with that, that's a great feature. I definitely think that something they should have brought in is the whole fact that you could just not only like dropping points. I feel like that should definitely be a thing, but alongside that, which World War II did very well. Also, you should be able to, if you don't like something in the mystery box and someone else does like it, I feel like you should be able to give that weapon to the person who wants it.
Yeah. Well,
therefore not wasting your points.
It'll
I
be
mean,
it'll be
to
it'll
some
be
degree.
it'll be like Cold War. So like when you pick up a weapon, the weapon will drop on the ground for someone to pick it up. So it'll be similar to Cold War.
And I don't know. I feel like the system they had with Black Ops 4, if you don't like want something, you could just stab the box and give the weapon to somebody else. I feel like that whole system was pretty interesting. I mean,
I forgot there's a few other things we haven't touched on yet that I wanted to talk about is not only the leaked game modes, but the 2 confirmed game modes. And also this will lead into some of the other Easter eggs and what we'll get for doing the Easter eggs, like the rewards this year. So with the 2 leaked game modes, and there's one that's not fully confirmed, there's one that has been canceled, supposedly. We don't know if it's been fully canceled or if it's been shelved. But we'll kind of talk about them. So the first one that kind of got shelved and leaked, but is probably not going to end up happening, is the classic mode, where you basically none of the crazy stuff's in it, like rarities, armor, none of that. But you start out with the starting pistol, so it's like classic zombies. That was the one that supposedly got leaked, but is probably canceled, to be honest, from what people were saying, which is fine. I mean, personally, to me, I don't care if there's a classic mode or not. I know a lot of people were hoping that there was, and it is what it is. That we won't really talk too much about. The hardcore game mode that got leaked, and the only other game that's really kind of had this in their game would be BO4. BO4 adding their hardcore difficulties and different difficulties, so it seems like they really want to bring that back, and that's not confirmed, so take that with a grain of salt for anyone who's watching. It's not 100% confirmed. It is in the game files, though, but this could mean that it's for a feature zombies game, though.
At any point become 100% confirmed, I do actually feel like this is a good idea. Not only in terms of adding hardcore, but also having these in the middle, difficulties, so it's not like casual or hardcore, we have multiple choices. I feel like that's a good idea because some players are those in the middle, like good players, and then you have other players that are amazing as zombies. And then the other people who are just terrible and they need a mode like, what was it, like casual or something like that from BO4.
Kind of going on with what you said about the difficulty meter. I think if we just have hardcore, normal, that's all we need. And I think that's fine. There's also the new guided mode. So it's basically going to show you every step to the Easter egg. It will guide you through the whole process. This will kind of lead up into the rewards that we're getting. But then there's the normal one, where the Easter egg steps. It doesn't tell you how to do it. You have to find out yourself, obviously, like always. Hardcore supposedly would add some sort of difficulty to the steps, which would be interesting. I'm wondering how they would be able to do that, considering the steps are probably already set in stone. So it'll be interesting to see how that even works, if that truly does happen. But going back to the rewards, so Treyarch this time has made an incentive for people to want to actually do the Easter eggs. What they've done is, if you complete the Easter egg, not on guided mode, but on the normal mode within a limited time, within, I imagine, about a month, you'll get exclusive calling card, right? There was a leak that I don't know how well true this is. You might get the first ever exclusive camo for wonder weapons only, that you can put on them. And then also there will probably be some other rewards that you get for completing the Easter egg. So I wonder how you feel about that. That they're not only just adding, like, you can get the calling cards later, obviously, for all of the Zombies games, but now they're adding an exclusive one that is limited time only, and you have a certain amount of time to do it. So how do you feel about that? Baze? Hello?
I was just
sorry.
doing something real quick.
Oh, yeah. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel the whole calling cards, exclusive calling card system, I think that's going to be interesting. I don't think everybody's going to like this whole guided mode idea, but at the same time, some people are going to really enjoy it because they're going to have some sense of accomplishment after they finish it.
Yeah.
And that ultimately, I feel like, is somewhat of a reward for them. I mean, at the end of the day, despite possibly not getting, like, a calling card for beating it, you know, like...
From Treyarch's standpoint, they even brought out a stat that only, like, 5% of the players completed D Machine's Easter egg for Cold War, which is an interesting stat to think about. They want to encourage, like, the whole point of Guided is, like, they want to encourage these casual players or new players of Zombies to really get into the story and the Easter eggs. I like the idea, because I know for a fact, like, you or me, FaZe, we're not going to play the Guided mode. Like, we're going to go ahead and, like, straight up just do that. Also, they're not releasing Guided mode right away, by the way. And I think the way they're going to do it is they're going to have Guided mode after people find out the Easter egg for themselves, which I like that idea. So, like, after a map has been out for a while, they'll add a guided mode for people who, you know, want to experience doing the Easter egg. So then that gives the limited time calling card a reason to do it, you know what I mean? So, like, that's a good idea, to release guided mode for certain maps specifically after, like, a month or so when the map is out. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, I think that's honestly that's kind of covers the leaked game modes and the stuff that's you know, kind of coming out for that. Let's see, what else was I thinking about? I mean, that's about it. I think we pretty much covered majority of things. I don't know, is there anything else that you could think of that you would like to see them make? I mean,
I know you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but what about the field upgrades?
Oh, yes, that's one thing that we definitely have missed on. I forgot about that, field upgrades. So, obviously, with, you know, field upgrades have been around since, you know, obviously Cold War, and they've taken many different ways, because, I mean, if we take, for example, if we take BO4 with the ultimate weapons, or your field upgrade weapons, should I say, so field upgrades have taken a different turn for, you know, majority of zombies over the years. With Cold War's iteration, you had obviously elemental field upgrades, like, you know, certain ones like healing. You had Ring of Fire, which obviously was the best one besides the healing aura. And then you have, obviously, the Energy Mine. You have Dark Aether, where you could turn yourself invisible, which is probably good for some people, but honestly, it wasn't that great of a perk, to be honest, or a field upgrade. We have this new one in BO6 that they showcased. It's basically a Dark Aether cannon that you can use as a laser to shoot zombies. It looked really weak. I don't really know how I feel about it. It wasn't a big deal to me. You know, and in all honesty,
wasn't a big deal because
I think
if they bring back Ring of Fire, I'm just gonna be using that again.
Yeah, Ring of Fire just is probably gonna be the best field upgrade again. I mean, that's probably the case. Or Healing Aura. You know, I honestly, I would kind of rather deal without field upgrades. I don't know how you feel about that. I think they just, I think we don't need them.
I am not gonna totally disagree with you on this.
Yeah, I just don't think we need them.
I feel like definitely they kind of fit that whole narrative that like the game is kind of going in this futuristic sort of thing there. Not with the setting, but particularly just like the items. I mean, because I mean, in other zombie experiences, you're not. I mean, you get like modifiers obviously in BO4 and stuff, but field upgrades basically you can use them over and over. So I feel like there's no real end to them until you die. I mean, you're just getting this constant field upgrade that you can activate almost whenever you want. I mean, because it's just that easy to get the kills. I mean, unless there's like, unless you have to get a lot more kills for it.
Man,
I feel like, yeah, I would be fine.
That's fine. I'll just let myself die here. That's fine.
I feel like I would be fine with that if they were gone, so long as like they didn't do something in place of it, like, you know, get more kills, you know, or something like that to activate it.
Yeah, I honestly, you know, I think field upgrades are kind of whatever. Well, I'll kind of finish off because I know like we pretty much touched everything. I'll kind of mention a few other quick little mentions before we kind of wrap this up. You know, obviously the traps this year, they look really interesting. We got the tentacle trap and obviously the superhero trap. They look very interesting this year. I mean, there's not really much to mention about them. They've been showcased. We've seen them already. They look pretty interesting. Another mention is when you shoot a mangler, they sometimes drop their arm cannon that you could pick up that has limited ammo that you can use, which is pretty interesting as well. Some other quick mentions in terms of aesthetics. We saw on Terminus that there'll be random zombie encounters. We'll have zombies that somehow just are eating a body. They look at you and then they get mad at you. Or we'll have zombies that we'll have like dead soldiers on the ground that are slowly dying. Like, it just adds to the aesthetics. So there'll be different times when we see those.
I don't know if you were going to mention this, but something I've been seeing going around is that apparently the zombies will have a kill cam.
Yes, the ending kill cam, also another quick mention. When you die to a zombie and your match ends, it will show the zombie actually killing you, which is the first time they've ever done that, which is, I think that's pretty cool.
Which,
it's a good ad. I think that just adds to it.
At the same time as it's cool, I feel like it does definitely add more brutality to it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Definitely make COD more of a, like, you know, oh, well, this game mode is like really, you know, bloody. Like,
another quick mention. There's no mangler, not manglers, but mimics so far. We've seen that there is a new boss type called the Vermin. It's a spider that goes around, and if you don't kill it quick enough, it basically turns into this giant monster that chases you around. It's a big brute and has a bunch of arms and stuff. So it's kind of similar to the Mangler in the way it works. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that's about it, guys. As BO6 comes closer to launch, we will absolutely be talking about it more. We'll obviously probably do these podcasts talking about zombies and stuff like that more. But before we probably head out for this episode, I want to just make, you know, obviously a quick shout out to FaZe for joining me. You know, me and him have been wanting to do some zombies content before BO6 comes out anyway. And, you know, it's awesome. And I'm excited that he was able to make it to, you know, the stream today. So I just want everyone to, you know, obviously go show him some love. Go tune into his socials, which will be down below in the description when this releases. Also, make sure you guys go ahead and check out my Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube. My Instagram and all that stuff's going to be in the description as well. Also, guys, remember, like I said, make sure you put some comments down below of what you want us to talk about or even play in terms of zombies gameplay, and we'll be more than happy to take a look at that, even shout you out in the next episode of this podcast. And also, if you guys want to see us, obviously, for BO6, make sure you guys tune into October 25th when the game releases. We're definitely going to be hopping into that and playing. But first, obviously, I'm going to be live streaming the campaign. I think FaZe will probably end up doing the same thing as playing campaign first.
Yep.
And also, another quick mention this year for Call of Duty, they are not doing a week early access. It all drops on the 25th. So that makes it hard, guys. We're going to have to finish the campaign first before we hop into zombies. That's just kind of my go-to. I always do that before any Call of Duty that drops. Always do campaign first.
Another quick thing I'm hoping is that we do get some special events in zombies.
Yes,
hopefully.
yes.
And
hope they bring
very
back all the
much
Christmas
like
stuff. The Halloween stuff is cool.
The Halloween stuff
Yes.
was very cool in Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the Modern Warfare's talking about like multiplayer and even like zombies
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
some standard. I mean,
Absolutely.
I always found the Halloween like events and Christmas and, you know, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, that stuff to be interesting.
Well, I don't think
And
we'll
I
get
definitely
Halloween this year just because the
hope
game
that
released.
I definitely hope that they like stack, you know, some of those holidays into
Mhm.
like the game somehow,
Yeah,
some way.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I think they probably will
I hope-
again, but
I
we'll
hope
have
they
to
bring
just
more
wait and see.
to zombies in terms of like holidays. Like,
Mhm. Yep.
you know, like St. Patrick's Day, you get like a pot of gold as a random
Yeah.
drop or something. You
Yeah,
know, like
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
That would be very interesting. You know, or there'd just be a random rainbow spawns, and you just go to the end of it, and you get this pot of gold,
Mhm.
and it just gives you like a bunch of points or something just completely random,
Mhm.
like say the Wonder Weapon or just something crazy. And you won't have to pick it up. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously you'll have the option to swap out your weapon or not.
Yep.
I mean, or in case you don't have a second weapon. I mean, this could always be a good way to start the game.
Uh-huh.
So that would definitely be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I
Like-
100% agree. Yeah, that's another quick mention as well.
Like special effects, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
to your weapons during
Yep.
those holidays. That
Yep.
would be interesting. You know,
Yeah.
similar to kind of what they did with multiplayer back in MW2,
Mhm.
I believe it was,
Mhm.
where they had, it was either MW2 or it was this game, they had the whole kill confirmed would drop the whole 4-leaf clovers
Yeah, yeah.
or whatever, or the hearts if you were
Mhm.
on Valentine's Day,
Yeah. Mhm.
which was definitely very cool. And I wouldn't even mind them adding a sort of like objective-based type thing into the game at some point.
Mhm.
I mean, as long as it doesn't turn out like MW Warzone, or not
Yeah.
MW Warzone, but
Might as well
Warzone
call it that.
Zombies, basically, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with it. Like-
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the events will be fun. The other thing is I want to quickly mention as well before we close this out as well. Like I said, go follow the socials and stuff, but don't expect this podcast to happen all the time, guys. Unfortunately, you know, with no zombies out yet, it's kind of hard for us to go ahead and do a podcast when we don't have BO6 out. You know what I mean? We could go back and do recycled content of old games. You know, me and FaZe
Yeah,
might
so
team up and
definitely-
do some zombie Easter
Definitely
eggs. in
put that
older
down
games, but-
below if you want any like old Call of Duty like zombies,
Mhm.
and we'll see if we can make it happen. I mean, it definitely depends on the map
Yep.
and the game, but
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so
we do
just
have all the BO3 stuff. You
Mhm.
know,
BO4.
we have all the Cold War stuff, of course,
War.
that we could do. BO4, we have everything. I mean,
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's about it, guys. But yeah, thank you guys again for tuning into our first episode of our podcast. This is not going to be edited, so all this is completely live. The beginning of the episode, sorry about the technical difficulties of this episode. I do apologize, guys, once again. But like I said, guys, thank you guys again for tuning in to this long stream and podcast.
extremely long.
Make sure you guys go check out FaZe's content and mine as well. And
It's
hopefully,
definitely not as long as my MW3 zombie video, but it
yeah, that's
is
true.
pretty long.
That's true, but hopefully you guys will tune into the next episodes. And also, guys, I'm going to be posting daily Call of Duty content until BO6 comes out, of course, and then I'm going to continue then. So make sure you guys keep checking for more content. But thank you guys again.
And definitely check out my channel. I will
Yes,
be posting
absolutely.
lots of, whether it's campaign, multiplayer,
Yes,
zombies,
yes, absolutely,
theories,
yeah.
whatever it may be. Weapon classes,
Yep,
recommendations. Ryan does a lot of that stuff too.
yep.
Particularly the weapon classes and discussions about zombies and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, I think that's about it for us, guys. Thank you guys again for watching this podcast episode. And hopefully, guys, we get to see you guys in the next couple streams or episodes. All right. Bye, everyone. All right. I think that
I mean, I won't disagree.